on to my predictions for the 2025 Qatar Grand Prix. In this series, we predict a bunch of different things, from a good surprise to the top 3 in the main race. If you'd like me to continue this series heading into 2026, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Let's do this. Start off with a good surprise, and I've gone for a driver who I have picked quite recently. I have gone for Oscar Piastri to be a good surprise, and the reason why, I generally believe that he will bounce back really strongly. This is one of his best tracks for one, and two, he does need to bounce back. He's had a few shocking weekends. Las Vegas, I think, was very underrated. I think he was pretty decent at that race, but he just got a bit unlucky in terms of like yellow flag in quali and just stuck behind other cars in the race. And if it wasn't for that, he probably would have got a podium on the road. He wouldn't have won because obviously of him having the skid wear issues for his floor. So yeah, I think Piastri will bounce back really nicely this weekend. Moving on to the biggest letdown, I've gone for a driver, unlike last week. To be fair, I went with McLaren last week and it went very well, so maybe I should just do them every single weekend. But I'm not going to be boring, but I've gone for a driver, and I have gone for Lando Norris to be the biggest letdown. I'm not saying Norris is going to be bad. I think he's just generally going to have slow pace compared to his main rivals this weekend. It's just a feeling. We do all predictions, it's just on pure vibes, and that's what I'm feeling this weekend. Moving on to sprint pole, and this one is probably quite obvious. This driver tends to be really good in the sprint part of the weekends. I have gone for Max Verstappen to take sprint pole. I think Red Bull's been very good around here, especially in the sprint part of the weekend, like it tends to be, and Verstappen will drag the most out of the car, but I also think the Red Bull will be very competitive this weekend, and that's why I think he will get sprint pole. Moving on to sprint winner, and this one was quite tough to pick. I wasn't sure. I was stuck between two drivers of what to pick, but I decided to go with Oscar Piastri for the win. I feel like the McLaren is just going to be so good around here. It's going to be really dominant. The tyre wear will be really good on the car, like it sometimes or mostly is, I should say. But I also forgot to say this weekend is a mandatory 2-stop race, so maybe that won't affect too much into it. These predictions were made, by the way, before that was even announced, so this is probably going to end up being wrong. But back to the Piastri prediction, I think the sprint part of the weekend, Piastri will be very, very good indeed. Moving on to pole position, and again, very, very tough to pick, but I have gone for Oscar Piastri to be on pole position. This is really going to age really badly, isn't it? A lot of these predictions I've made do age pretty badly, and it's probably going to age badly again, but you know, it's part of fun. We're having fun around here. You guys enjoy the videos as well. I'm just saying, but like I said, I think the McLaren is going to be really, really good around this circuit, and I think Piastri is going to dominate his teammate. Don't know why I said that in a funny voice, but it is what it is. Moving on to third position for the Qatar Grand Prix, and I have gone for George Russell to be in third position. I think the Merc is going very good around here. Not as good as the Red Bull and the McLaren, but I think Russell will outperform the car like most of the time he does. Moving on to second position for the Qatar Grand Prix, and I have gone for Max Verstappen to be P2. Like I said, for the sprint pole, I think the Red Bull will be very, very competitive, but I think the McLaren, especially in the race, will be a touch too quick for Max Verstappen. Moving on to the winner of the Qatar Grand Prix, and I have gone, you've probably guessed it, Oscar Piastri to win the Qatar Grand Prix. This is a must-win race for Oscar Piastri to even keep in touch with his teammate for the Drivers' Championship, and I feel like he will bounce back, like I said at the beginning of the video, and he will win this Grand Prix in pretty dominant fashion. Moving on to my 3 random predictions, and my first random prediction for the Qatar Grand Prix is Lando Norris finishes outside the top 4. I know it says Norris is outside the top 4, but what I mean to say is Norris will finish outside the top 4 in the race. Well, Norris most of the time finishes the race it's always in the top 4, and I think he'll finish outside the top 4 on pure pace. I think when he finished 7th in Baku, I don't think that was on pure pace. I think, obviously, he made a bit of a mistake in quali and just didn't capitalise on Piastri's bad weekend. And I just don't think Norris will have the pace this weekend to be in contention, in my honest opinion. Moving on to my second round of prediction, and I've gone. The Mercedes will finish P2 in the Constructors, and what I mean by that is I think they'll clinch 2nd place in the Constructors' Championship this weekend, because I feel like Antonelli will be very good. Russell, like I predicted, will be 3rd place, and that's why I think Mercedes will clinch 2nd place in the Constructors' Championship. My final round of prediction for the Qatar Grand Prix. There will be no yellow flags in the race. This one is probably the most craziest prediction I've done, because last year there was multiple safety cars and multiple incidents. This could age really poorly, but do I care? Absolutely not. Well, that is the end of my predictions for the Qatar Grand Prix. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. Let me know your predictions down in the comments below, because I'd really love to hear your predictions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys for a new video coming soon.